I've tried to stay positive and optimistic through it all and just keep that dream alive that like, yes, I can be back to where I was before. You know, I can win Western States. That's still a huge dream of mine. It's still something that I really want to accomplish in my life. Yeah, going into Western States last year, I was feeling pretty confident. Like my fitness was probably at an all-time high. Felt like I had a really good chance of winning the race. You know, I'd done some training runs with some of the guys that placed really well at Western States last year, and was thinking like, man, this is gonna be a good year. And of course, like, things happen, right? I went into the race, ended up getting injured. The injury was kind of like coming on, you know, before the race. I thought I could manage it, thought I'd be okay, and then in the race I took a pretty big fall, smashed my knee, and yeah, that knee got worse. I ended up having to drop out of the race about halfway through. And that was really challenging. If I have to be completely honest with you, like the last year has probably been one of the most challenging years of my life. It hasn't been easy. Like just from physical side, you know, from dealing with a lot of injuries, having to have the surgery that I had, to the mental side of like dealing with all that and having to go through like not knowing if my career would I'd ever be the same again. You know, not knowing when I would recover or if I would recover from it. When I fell in the race, my immediate thoughts and feelings were to try and manage it or figure out a way to get through it. Like, I'm a very competitive person, and when I go into a race, like, I want to give the best that I possibly can. You know, I want to make sure that I fight to the very end until I can't fight anymore. And that's kind of what my thoughts and feelings were, is I busted up my knee and I was like, man, like this really, really hurts. I don't think this is good. Like, it definitely feels worse than it's felt before, but I'm gonna try and go as far as I can. And I actually was stopping at some of the aid stations. I actually worked with the race director, Craig Thornley, at the Devil's Thumb aid station to try and figure out a way. Like, we taped it up and we had the doctor look at it and try and find a way. And I actually ended up like getting out of that aid station with my knee all taped up. And after about 1 or 2 miles, I realized that it wasn't gonna happen. But I ended up walking the next like 15 miles of the race. Got to the, that aid station where my crew was at Michigan Bluff, and I still was trying to find ways to get through it. And finally, after some convincing, they were like, hey, this is not smart. Like, you need to drop out. There's no way. But I was actually like, going into Michigan Bluff, I actually told my crew and told myself, hey, I'll just walk to the finish. Like, I can walk. I can't run. My knee's gone, but I can limp. I can walk. Like, the race means that much to me. The community means that much to me. Like, I knew all the hard work that I'd put into that race, that I thought, hey, if I have to walk it out, I'll just walk it out. But yeah, my crew, my wife, other people were like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. So yeah, it was definitely tough, but I learned a lot from that experience. I made a lot of plans in my head during that walking period, and definitely I think I've come out of it a lot stronger person. Like, I'd never had that serious of an injury before where I couldn't do anything, but it was about 6 weeks where I couldn't do anything. I mean, everything was locked up. Like, there was no real running or cycling or anything. But as soon as I could get some movement in it, I was back to work immediately. Like, rehab, physical therapy, like doing everything I could to kind of try and build some fitness back. I got on the bike quite a bit. I was hiking quite a bit, doing just whatever I could. It wasn't easy because like all I wanted to do was run, and I saw like all my friends and competitors, out there racing and winning races. And I actually went out to UTMB to crew Dan at UTMB, and like I was really happy to be there and really happy to be able to help him. But it was also very difficult because I was like, man, I wish I was in this race. Like this would be so fun. But yeah, I think it was a good thing to be able to be on the other side of things and really see what other people, I guess, have to go through, and be the crew for once. And I'm really happy I had those experiences, but I wouldn't say it was easy. because more than anything, I was just hungry to get back and to be myself again. Yeah, going into Black Canyon, I wasn't even sure if I was going to race about 6 weeks out. 5-6 weeks out, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to, because I was still feeling my knee a bit, like it was still recovering from the surgery. I mean, that's the thing, is like when you get a surgery, I mean, it can be a year or longer process to fully recover from that, you know, and Black Canyon was only about 7-8 months after surgery. And so I really didn't know what to expect going into that. I didn't even know if I was going to run the race, but I did some course recce. I went down to the course, checked it out, did some like pretty key workouts that just to like test my fitness and see where I was at. And I felt comfortable. Like I felt like my knee would be able to hold up, like it would feel good, that I could go into that and I could potentially fight for a golden ticket. Like my whole objective, I talked to my wife about this before, was if I can just take third, I would be happy. Because there was 3 spots, you know, for golden tickets. And I said, I just want to have a chance to be back into Western States. So like I went in with that attitude and that mindset, and yeah, luckily I felt really good on race day. Like everything just came together at the right time. My nutrition was spot on. Everything just kind of played out really well, and I had a great day. Like I was able to come away with the victory and the course record, and kind of surprised myself. I think I surprised a lot of other people as well. I definitely had confidence that I could race it with the leaders, but I didn't know like what I was capable of. Yeah, I was really happy with that performance, and more than anything was really happy that I was able to get back into Western States, because I knew that if I could just have a chance at being back at Western States, I could really do something magical on that day. I'm gonna fight. I'm a fighter. I'm always gonna fight. I'm always gonna put myself in a position to win the race, but it might look a little different this year than it has in the past, and we'll just have to see. I guess the silver lining through all this injury and things that I've had to fight through the last year is it gave me a lot of time to really dial in my nutrition. Like I worked a lot on it. When I was on the bike, I was doing a lot of work with my nutrition. On some of those long hikes, I was doing a lot of work with my nutrition. And then when I got back into the running and started doing some longer runs, I really worked on my nutrition. And I've really trained my gut to be able to handle a higher load of carbohydrates, higher amounts of liquid, different things like that, because I knew that was my downfall in the past at Western States, was I wasn't fueling enough, I wasn't hydrating enough. So I knew that if I could get that down, that would be definitely a strength of mine going into Western States. And I feel like it has become a strength. Like I feel like I have my nutrition down, and that's one thing that I do not worry about at all. At Black Canyon, it showed. You know, I was able to get over 100 grams of carbs an hour for a little over 7 hours. My hydration was spot on. Of course, I'm gonna have to up that in a hotter race like Western States. But luckily I live in a great area where I can focus on that and get some good heat training in. So that is one thing I will focus on in this block, is to make sure I get that all completely down. Yeah, and I think at Western States, like if the training runs go well, if I feel like I can still handle 100 grams an hour, I will target that, you know, 100, 110 grams per hour. But like it is a long race. It's a 14, 15 hour race. And if I run into any issues, I think I would be okay with just lowering that just a little bit. The good thing is I work really closely with a lot of the guys at Precision, specifically James. James has been there for me throughout all this. He's really, he talks to me often, and we really go through the nutrition strategy together. And as I've been able to work these things out with James, yeah, I've been able to just get that spot on. And we've talked that, yeah, if things kind of go wrong, maybe my stomach's not handling the 100 grams, I can maybe drop it down 10 grams to 90, which I know 90 works perfect at those temps. And I should be good to go. I want the win at Western States. You know, I definitely would be lying if I said that I didn't want the win, and I'm okay settling for a podium. Of course, anybody wants the podium. It's still a great day if you podium, but I want the win, you know. And a perfect day at Western States would be going out there with my friends and my family who are going to be there to support me, executing, you know, my race strategy perfectly, my fueling strategy. But I'd like to have a fight, and hopefully, you know, my friend Dan's in there with me, and we're fighting together, you know, for those podium spots. And we come away, you know, with those spots. And yeah, I want to be able to finish with my friends, my family, you know, running around that track with my kids, and being able to share that moment with them. And I think that's what matters most to me, is sharing it with the people that I love. And if I can do that, run a full race, because I feel like I haven't ran a full race at Western States. If I can execute and run a full, fully executed race, I'd be happy, especially if I get to do it with my friends and family.